So, welcome everyone who's on the call and who will ever hear this recording to the Taurus full moon on what day is it? November 5th, 2025. And yeah, this is just a huge super moon. I'm sure we've all looked out and saw the moon. It's pretty amazing. It's very close to the Earth now. And yeah, in all of its splendor. And also, the supermoons always have a greater impact on us emotionally because, like a greater impact on the waves and the ocean, the waters, and a greater impact within us. So I don't know about you, but I am really feeling this one a lot. And yeah. We're really being called to embody and to embody our I am presence and to be aware. This new moon is really all about embodiment and connecting to our physical bodies, what's happening in our physical body, and really being present. So this is what we're being called to with the codes of this moon. So let's just take a breath on that and just come present fully into our bodies. Hmm. And as always, this is just my ritual. One hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, and telling your inner child, I'm here with you and I'm not going anywhere. Take a breath, blow out. I'm here with you and I'm not going anywhere. Take the breath. And blow out. And with each exhalation, just allow yourself to feel yourself more grounded to the earth, more grounded to what you're sitting on, more present in your body. One more time. I'm here with you and I'm not going anywhere. Now just putting your arms around yourself, giving yourself a big hug. Just allowing your inner child to feel safe and held in your own embrace. And just feel the stillness that really comes when you do those two things. And then crossing your hands to your shoulders, just honoring yourself, honoring your own greatness, honoring truly the gifts that you bring to life, the ways that you show up, your willingness to be in embodiment at this time, and honoring all the lifetimes it took to get you here to this lifetime, right? And just knowing that, whatever you've gone through in this life, that you are the survivor, you are the hero, right? And most of all, that you are the authority for your own life. You are the ultimate authority for your own life. And then just as we bow our heads, we're honoring everyone else's contributions. Those on the call, those are coming, and really everyone on this planet, like we all have agreed to play a role in this planetary ascension. And even the bad guys agreed to play their role, right? So we're all here with divine purpose, and the more we can just honor ourselves and honor everybody else's contributions, we just rest in that place of, you know what? There's really almost, there's nothing to forgive here. We're all played our roles. We were all willing to play that role out of love for our families, our children, our our planet, right? And now we see that so much more clearly than we've ever seen it before. Yeah. So let's do the invocation, bring in the beings of light, feel their presence around us. They're always around us, but when we call them in, they receive a greater invitation, really, to anchor within our field and to intercede in our life and to mentor us, right? So let's just do that. Take that moment. I call forth now 144 Hathor guardians and 88 Hathor gatekeepers. Take your places. We live at Alpha and Omega, Helios and Vesta. God and Goddess Meru come. Lord Maitreya come, Gautama Buddha come, 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Place your presence here with us. We live at Archangel Michael and the Archangels and Archei. Form a circle around our space. Anchor now your columns and pillars of light. Ein Sof come, mighty seraphim come, gold and silver dragons. Isis and Osiris, Yeshua and Magdalene, Kuan Yin and Avalokiteshvara, Cosmic Mother Mary, Queen of Heaven, Archangel Raphael. Live at Archangel Metatron and Lord Melchizedek, Saint Germain and Portia, Pallas Athena, Lady Liberty, the Great Karmic Board, Sanat Kumara and Lady Master Venus, Serapis Bey, El Morya Kutumi and Dwa Kul, Lord Lanto and Confucius, Nada Hilarion, Paul the Venetian, Sananda Sanada, the Ashtar Command, your own twin flame and soulmate families, our star ancestors, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, the Syrians, the Lyrians, and all the star systems that are supporting us. Call forth now the cosmic humans on the other side of the galaxies, inviting them into this circle. Connecting now to the 144 aspects of our own I am presence, the 12 aspects in each of the 12 dimensions. Calling in our own ancestors, all the way back to the beginning and all the way forward. As we acknowledge the quantum field where everything is happening at the same time. The past, the present, the future. As we elevate into the fifth dimensional awareness and above, we transcend the limitations of time and space. We step into the fullness of our own mastery as star beings here in embodiment. Choosing to be here for this moment in time. Truly the time of the great remembering and the great transcendence. We call in now the dolphins, the whales, the unicorns, the dragons, and the mer people. The butterflies, the fireflies, dragonflies, the fire, the air, the water, and the earth. All of the beings in all planes and dimensions, the angelic beings, the ascended masters, the Lemurians in the heart of the earth, we become aware of the Christed ETs in their spaceships, both monitoring our progress and assisting us in our journey here on Earth. And we come here fully grateful for this moment, for this time, and for all the blessings we are about to receive. As we connect in now to the planetary astrology and the alignments of the planets. The sun at 13 degrees 22 of Scorpio, and the moon at 13 degrees 22 of Taurus. And as we call in these planetary alignments, we know that each of the planets is held by a consciousness that ensouls that planetary system. So we invite each of them into our sacred circle. The gifts that they bring and the medicine of their positioning. Mercury and Mars in Sagittarius, Venus in Libra, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius, Chiron in Aries, Lilith in Scorpio, the North Node in Pisces. Just take a breath now. Just feel how they have come in a circle around us, our sacred circle. And now we call them into the center of our circle. That we might truly receive that which they are placing upon our cosmic buffet for these next 2 weeks and beyond. So we give gratitude for this time of coming together. We open to receive the outer and the inner transmission of this call. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, whew. So the Taurus full moon is called the beaver moon because it's the beavers prepare their lotus and store their food for winter. So this, Taurus is all about that physical security, about taking care of things, about knowing that you're safe, about having your ducks in a row, so to speak, right? And so I don't know about you, but I'm like really feeling this aspect of this moon. It's like, wow, what do I have in alignment and what do I need to bring into alignment, really? So it's about symbolizes planning and protection and the rewards of effort, this beaver full moon. And the moon represents destiny. This moon represents destiny, is connected directly to destiny. And Venus governs Taurus, and Venus is in the second house, which rules money. So this is really on our plate in so many different aspects, within our own worlds. I don't know about you, but I don't know. We can like is this say yes if that's an aspect in your life, if that's really coming up, and all of us on this call at this time really have a profound understanding of um, the financial changes that are just waiting, that are already in place, and we're just like waiting for them to uh, the go system for that change to take place on the world where we actually are. All the economies are backed by gold and 1 to 1. And so we're in that time of knowing and waiting. I guess that's what I would say. We're in the time of knowing and waiting, knowing it's coming and waiting for it to really come into full manifestation. So some of these codes that I'm seeing here, hi Belle, come in. Um, some of these codes that we're seeing here really are showing us this aspect of moving forward. So let's just take the date of November 5th, 2025. When we decode it numerologically, it comes down to 11 plus a 5 plus a 9, which is a 16, and it reduces to a 7. And this is 7 is all about moving forward. And it's the chariot in the tarot cards in the major arcana. And what I love about the chariot is that, it's the king, right? The king in his chariot, and he's got his crown on, and he's got some kind of shoulder things, I don't know, stars or something on his shoulders. And he's got his chariot that is actually being pulled forth by um, the sphinxes, right? The black sphinx and the white sphinx. So, but he doesn't have any reins attached to the sphinx. He's actually guiding them through his mastery, his mental mastery. And so this is what we are being called to do as this number 7 is move forward through our own mastery, right? So let's just ground that in. Yeah. So also the number 5 of the November 5 is about change. So we're moving forward. We always move forward through change, right? Because if we keep doing the same old thing, we get the same results, right? So we have to embrace the change and be willing to make the change so we can move forward. And then the number 5 in the tarot is the Hierophant, which is, he looks like the Pope. He's got that hat on, but he's really about the teacher and a lot about the inner teacher, right? The wisdom and the guidance that we receive on a spiritual level through our own gnosis, our own direct knowing. And this is what those of us on the path consciously are really realizing, that more and more we are being guided forward, the number 7, through our own attainment, our own mastery, our own listening within, our own willingness to follow the guidance that really does come from within. Yeah. And I'm seeing that the timing of this moon was at 1:19 p.m. Universal Time, 8:19 Eastern Time, and 5:19 Pacific Standard Time. And 19 is the Prince of Heaven number, so it refers to the sun. So we're all being called to shine our light brighter, to really anchor into the knowing that we are the sun, that we are star suns, and that we are a star somewhere in cosmos, not as an idea, but as a true reality. Yeah. So in this moon, this full moon, the moon is in Taurus opposite the sun in Scorpio. Taurus is about life and simplicity, and Scorpio is about death and complexity. So as they are in polarity, they're bringing us these themes to work with in our lives, right? The moon is at 13 degrees, 22 minutes of Taurus, the sun at 13 degrees, 22 minutes of Scorpio. The interesting thing about this numerologically is 13 reduces to a 4, 22 reduces to a 4. So that's a 4-4 code for the moon and a 4-4 code for the sun. So then we have 4 4s. We have 4-4-4-4 code. So 4 is about stability and structure and building a strong base and anchoring into the earth, right? We have the 4 seasons. Taurus is an earth sign, so it's all about anchoring into the earth, right? The number 13 is a vibration of empowerment and transformation, and it's actually the vibration of the divine feminine. So we see a lot of codes here in this moon about the return of the divine feminine. 22 is Magdalene's number. Yeah. The moon is exalted in Taurus, so the moon is about the divine, the feminine aspect and about the emotions. And 13 is also aligned with the moon cycles, the 13 moon cycles in a year. So another code of this connection to nature, the connection to the organic cycles, not the man-made ones, but the organic cycles that really come through the 13 cycles. So I'm going to give you that blend earth love because this is what this moon is really presenting to us is anchoring to the earth, anchoring into our bodies on the earth, and really appreciating earth as our mother. So I'm going to project that blend earth love. Receive it now. Taking the breath, just letting it land. Hmm. The other number here that also relates to the divine feminine is Venus actually rules Taurus, and Venus is about the love, the beauty, the abundance. So Venus is the ruler of this moon, and she is at 28 degrees of Libra. Libra is about the peace, the balance, the harmony, also very much feminine qualities. 28 reduces to a 10 and to a 1. So this is like the beginning. The 10 is the sovereignty piece with infinite opportunities and infinite possibilities. And 28 is also a number that's very much connected to the divine feminine, the 28 days of the moon cycles, and the moon cycle of the feminine minstrels, right? So, what we're seeing in this is just again and again and again the codes of the return of the divine feminine. And we've been working on this a long time, right? But now, both in the way that women are showing up in the world, we are accelerating this balance of the male and the female. And I don't know, I think that, this whole journey in Turkey has really, sometimes I wonder, like, what am I doing here, right? I've been here since the 11th of September. And in many different cities and many different places where I've been staying, even like sometimes three different places in one city. And so it's been this continual recalibration. But one thing that's very interesting here in Turkey, and particularly where I am now, is the men are well, they sort of have these men's clubs on the street, right? Where they drink the chai, the tea of Turkey, and they play their games, their card games, and their word games, and but they're not just a few. Like here there can be like maybe 45 or 50 men in this one restaurant or whatever, and outside playing these games. And when I go by them, it's like I really don't feel a lot of consciousness happening there. So um, where I am now is like in near Ephesus, which was the, according to local legend, Mother Mary spent her last days here with John Beloved. John the Beloved brought her here. And so there's the house to Mother Mary, which is a pilgrimage site, which is about 9 kilometers out of the city. And then there's the city of Ephesus, the ruins, and then there is the Temple of Artemis, which was this huge temple, the biggest, one of the seven wonders of the world at the time, this bigger than the Parthenon in Greece, all of these huge columns, right? But the worship of the mother of Artemis, the worship of the divine feminine. And then John the Beloved, whose message was really all about love, and who was the
Oh,
caretaker of our beloved Mother Mary, right? At the end of her life, and took just, yeah, Jesus gave him that assignment. So it's very interesting. A woman who lives here just talked about how she moved here because she felt this divine feminine line coming through this area. And the how the women are very involved in helping each other and good works. They're very creative here. Oh my God, they just do all of these crafts. And they have a certain light that they carry of the divine feminine. And then the juxtaposition of so many of these men who are just like totally oblivious to the divine feminine. I think I could say that. Yeah. So it's been interesting being here, and I actually just feel like a big part of my being here is walking amongst the people and just radiating that divine feminine frequency and the consciousness of a higher consciousness to be received and consciously activating asking my angels to activate the people as I move among them. So that's what I'm doing here. So to celebrate that in each of us, the divine feminine on this call and who will receive this, and even the divine feminine in the men who might receive it, I'm going to project the blend dance of the immortal goddess because this is the dance. This is the goddess that's returned again and again and again to planet Earth to teach, to heal, to anchor the gifts, to anchor the divine feminine qualities. Um, yeah, in all the ways that we've done it through all of the lifetimes and embodiments. So, they took us out many, many, many times for doing what we were doing. But you know what? Here we are again. We're back. They can't keep us out. So here we are. Dance of the immortal goddess. Receive it now and breathe it in. And as you're holding it, just let your attention and intention go to your memories of having been here as serving again and again and again as the goddess on this planet when you brought your gifts of beauty, of art, of dance, of the crafts, the creative things that these women are making here and are healing, you know, everything that we brought in every lifetime, just celebrate yourself for that. As we let in now, the divine masculine coming in to our call. Perfect timing. Yes. So, hi, Rick. Thanks for coming on. So, yeah, we've been taking a look at how the divine feminine is really being anchored through this moon, through the codes of the 13 and the 22 and the 28. The other aspects about the 13 is that Venus has 13 stages as she goes through her cycles. and that the last two moons were actually at 28 degrees. So the thing I love about tracking the astrology and the numerology together as we go through the moons is how it's not a one-time shot that, they show us through these repetitions what is the energy that is being anchored during several moon phases. So the 28 and the 28 reducing to a 10 and a 1 is like this new beginnings and the infinite possibility as we anchor as that one of the sovereign being and the zero of the infinite possibilities. So Taurus is in the second house of astrology, and the second house is on finances and personal values. So really, this whole moon is bringing us this focus on finances and our personal values and how those two things are showing up in our life. Um, you know, Taurus is the bull. It's very reliable. It's very steadfast. It's takes a long time to make a decision sometimes, but once it makes the decision, it just like anchors in. It can be very stubborn, right? Well, not only stubborn, but has that's a good quality of being the steadfast, right? But it can also be very, like when we think about the bullfights and the red. The red flag in front of the bullfight, when it gets angry, it can go into a rage. So that is like the shadow side of the bull, and the steadfast and reliable is the other aspect of the quality of the bull that we really want to bring into this moon. Okay. So the ability to attract abundance is called forth through the second house of money. And the thing about money is, I don't know, it's such a dance for many of us. And what is coming up through this moon is all of our fears about money, about not having it, about losing it, about the scarcity of never having enough, on and on and on. We are doing this dance with resources. Even if we have a lot of money in bank accounts, there could be the fear that we're going to lose it, or like the new financial system is going to do whatever. Or, if we have an IRA, are we going to be able to use it? All of that. And then some of us don't have any of that. And it's like, okay, can we anchor the truth of our being that true abundance comes from within, and true abundance comes from our own connection to the divine. So the blend for this is alchemy for opulence, and opulence means rich abundance. And within this blend is that feeling that we are worthy to receive, that we are worthy to have abundance, that we are um, worthy in all of our forms. Because what is coming up is the questions of, do I have enough? Am I enough? It's all about enough, enough, enough. Every place that we figure that we need more, we don't have enough, or every place that we're unsure. So that whole question for me, is enough, enough, enough. It's like, basta. We are enough. We are all worthy. And as we hold that frequency of our own worth and of our own truth and our own connection to divinity, that's where the true abundance comes in. So I'm going to give you alchemy for opulence. So receive it now and breathe it in and hold it. And the questions to hold while we're in here, what am I afraid of losing? And who would I be if I trusted my ability to create abundance wherever I go? Just receive that. Mm. And then if you choose, just repeat after me, beloved, I am presence. Help me to remember my worth, to feel confident about that which I bring to life, and to know that I don't have to prove worth, that my very presence in this embodiment on this planet makes a difference. As I anchor my light and I acknowledge my true worth, the value I carry through my frequency and my vibration and my wisdom, I am more than enough. I am amazing. And that's the truth. So just anchor that. I am more than enough. I am amazing. Let me say yes to that. Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes, 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 yes. Woo! All right. So I want to give you this quote that just sort of goes on with that. I have it down here a little bit. This woman who has the website of Moon Omens, she really comes through with some great downloads. And she said, true wealth is stored not in our bank accounts, but in our nervous system. And peace is the true currency. True wealth is stored not in our bank accounts, but in our nervous system. And peace is the true currency. I love that quote. Because one of the other aspects of the Taurus is anchoring peace in the physical realm. So Taurus calls us to ground to the earth and to consider the questions of trust, security, and what it really means to feel safe. Not only emotionally, but in our bodies. Do you feel safe in your body? Do you feel safe in the environment that you live in? Oh my God. These two little cats, young cats, have like taken up residence in my bottom of my steps from my door. And they were probably taken from their mother too early, so they didn't ever have that nurturing that they wanted. And and when I go out there, they're like all over me, like they will not leave me alone. And actually, when I walk, they walk in front of me, and it's like I'm tripping all over them, and they're just like crying, and it's like I'm really realizing that what it brings up in me. It's like I feel like I can't even go out my door because they so take me over. And so I'm just really in that place of what are these cats teaching me? And the other thing they do is they just lay out front. in front of the screen door. They just lay there until I come out. So I don't know. I'm just really in this place of, okay, what are the cats teaching me here, right? I don't know, but sometimes when I go out there, I don't feel like I'm safe because they're in my face, they're in my feet, whatever. Anyhow, it's a personal thing I'm going through right now. But one of the things that's coming up with this moon is self-care, like taking care of our bodies, really honoring both our physical body needs and our emotional needs. The ability to like trust our senses. You know, Taurus is very much grounded to comfort, to luxury. It's very aware. It loves good food. It loves the sensual. It loves being touched. It's the five senses, right? You know, being able to take in all of those things and yeah, so it's really bringing up, you know, take care of ourselves. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Choose what feels good in your soul and trust that what you need is already within your reach. So, the blend for this is honoring me, I am worthy, you know, really knowing that for me, it's not even a question of worth. It's beyond that. It's really the honoring of who we are, all the ways that we've shown up, not only now, but throughout our lives, you know? How have you again and again and again shown up to serve life, to give your gifts, whether they're art or dance or creativity or, you know, serving as a volunteer someplace, or even how you serve in your jobs, you know? It's like everything counts. Everything counts. So honoring me is with a capital M-E, and that's master energy, honoring my I am presence as it is being expressed through this physical body and anchored into the earth. Honoring me, I am worthy. Receive it. Breathe it in. I release it. And can we once and for all put to rest all of those belief systems that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I didn't do it right, blah, 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 blah. You know, yeah. It's about becoming present and taking time to be fully in your body, to be present, to rest. It's the sacred pause, right? It's when we turn off the YouTube, when we're not scrolling on our phones, when we are just sitting and being present in the silence, that we do receive the downloads and the uploads. Because in that space, we can hear what we're receiving from our soul, from our I am presence. And you know, this whole concept of rest, like I am so receiving that. That even when we do exercise, we need to just stop before we go down to the next one so your body can recalibrate. To breathe and allow that realignment. You know, even God rested on the seventh day, right? This is not something to be skipped over. The sacred pause is what allows us to make the divine attunement. And the same woman on Moon Omen, she said that we often reach out for stimulation rather than nourishment. And isn't that true? Like, how many times do you go to the next short on on your iPhone, right? Rather than placing your hand on your heart and your belly and just becoming present, which is a form of nourishment. When we honor ourselves, we honor our bodies. Taurus teaches embodiment and peace. So this man that I've been studying with, Ken Stone, it's really about soul embodiment. This is the stage of evolution that we're in as people who are on the spiritual path. Bringing down our I am presence into the physical body. And he always says, come into your hips, bring your soul, bring your presence down all the way into your hips and anchor it there. And when we do that, we are fully present in our body, and that's where we find the peace. So the blend is inner peace, strength of the Buddha. Receive it. And breathe it in. And more than ever, what we're really being asked to do is to hold the space. Hold the space for this time of the great transitioning on planet Earth. The Buddha holds the space. And what we're really being asked in this moon is what truly sustains me? What are my values? Taurus is all about the values. What's important? What feels luxurious? What tastes good? How can I create an environment that feeds me, feeds my soul, and that is sacred, right? And am I living in alignment with my values? It's really asking us to reevaluate our relationship with money and with possessions. Am I surrounded by things that are meaningful to me? Or have I kept things that don't mean anything anymore and are really not nourishing me, but maybe sucking my energy, right? This is the thing. When we stay, I don't have any of this because, like, I'm the Rolling Stone, right? I'm not even in a city sometimes more than 4 or 5 days at this cycle of my life. But, back in Sedona, I have storage and I have stuff in storage that I haven't touched since I came on this Gypsy Wagon Trail in 2008, right? So even though I'm not surrounded by it in where I am at the moment, it's an energy that's still out there that's draining my energy and my resources, right? As I've been paying for it to be in storage all this time. So, you know, let's take this time of this Taurus moon. Full moons are about getting rid of things, getting rid of belief systems we don't need anymore, making changes in our environment where it's not aligned with who we are now and who we want to become. So this is really the perfect time to take a look at that and just, make a commitment, even just doing what we can on a daily basis to bring our environment into more of an alignment with who we are and who we want to be. Yeah. There's a grand trine that's created by Jupiter to Mars and Mercury conjunct, and to Neptune and Saturn conjunction. And this grand trine is deeply spiritual. So, one of the things that we're being asked to do in this moon is to take that sacred pause, to stop, to go inside, to ground to the earth, to put our feet on the earth, to lie down on the earth if we can, to shut out the outer stimulation and let the flow of the gnosis, that direct connection to your own spirit, have the space, really have the space to receive the messages from spirit, to download them. Another aspect of this moon is Mars is Sagittarius, is exactly opposite to Uranus in Gemini, both at 0, 0 degrees. Now we know that 0, 0 degrees is, and 29 is the first degree of the 30 aspects of every sign, and 29 is the last. They're called the AnnRaNae degrees, and that means that they're most powerful. So Mars going forward in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about having a good time, actually, and very social. And Uranus is in Gemini, which is also very social. It likes to multitask and do things, and they're both about communication and connecting to each other. They're both at 0, 0 degrees. And Uranus is about it's the great awakener, and it brings things into our life in surprising, shifting, paradigm shifting developments. We can expect some of that to be happening during this, what is it? During the next 2 weeks of this letting go, but also until the next 6 months of the new moon in Taurus. So that's how it goes. We can expect surprising paradigm shifting developments. Yes? So how about new earth rising shifting frequencies? Because we know so much is changing on the planet, right? We are changing so much and so fast now. It's hard to keep up with our own evolution, let alone the changes on the planet. So new earth rising shifting frequencies. Receive that? Holding it. So let's just say this prayer to our I am presence. Beloved, I am presence. So much is shifting within me and around me. Help me to release that which I no longer need, and help me to embrace the new changes that are coming into my life with grace and with ease. Help me to move into that place of non-attachment where I can adapt to change easily and gracefully. And I can welcome it in as an ally on my journey home to my heart and in my soul's evolution. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's give a shout out to Uranus, who's the great awakener who helps us through unexpected events to actually make the changes that we couldn't make on our own. That's one of his superpowers, right? And Mercury is at 5 degrees of Scorpio, conjunct Mars at 0 degrees. I don't know if that's right. I got it mixed up. They're both in Sagittarius. So they're conjunct. So Mercury is about communication, how we communicate with ourselves, how we communicate with others. Mars is that outer drive to move forward. there's one thing about this moon that we want to be careful of how we respond to things because there are some potential triggers in here. So it's really asking us to take that time of the Taurus to take the breath when we feel like we're going to get triggered or like somebody said something and we want to say something back. Taurus is about speaking our truth. Scorpio is about, so Taurus is the throat chakra, Scorpio is the base chakra, right? The need for safety. So we have those things activated as well. So we want to really be careful about how we might respond to a trigger and take that breath before we let it come out of our mouth. Let's just say that, right? Yeah. So Venus is square Pluto, and squares always bring attention. So Pluto is about transformation. Venus is about the beauty, about abundance. It's about the divine feminine. So Pluto burns away that which is not real, right? And what this can bring up is an emotional detox, like many people, like this whole aspect, are feeling a lot of rage right now, right? Because really what's happening in this last months, those last weeks before the 2026 is like we are in a 9 year, it's a year of completions, whatever we haven't completed from this lifetime and resolved, and what we're carrying over from other lifetimes that we haven't resolved, it's all out there. It's like on this sweet and sour buffet that we're facing every day, It's like but we want to let the emotions come up, it's we want to let the feelings come up. We want to let everything that's been stored there forever to come up, to be acknowledged. And then, our soul, our inner child just wants to be heard, right? And this woman that has a store here, she's married to one of these men that is not conscious, not aware. And I can see that she's really not happy. And I just asked her, why do you keep doing this? And she just basically said, I can't even talk about it because if I talk about it, it's all going to come up and I don't know when it will ever end. And I just had to look at her and I had to say, but when you keep stuffing it is when disease happens, that unexpressed emotions, when we can't speak our truth, when we can't even allow it to come to our own personal awareness, let alone anybody else's. So they're telling me we're in the time of the cosmic cleanup, right? The cleanup of whatever is unresolved within us. We now really, it's our opportunity to let it come up, to acknowledge it, to acknowledge that our inner children are survivors, not only in this lifetime, but of all the other lifetimes. So just loving our inner child through it, letting your inner child have that rage, hopefully not so much directed at others, but just in a private space so it can come out, be on the table. The inner child can be heard, held through it, and then the inner child can say, okay, now I'm feeling better. Now my tantrum's over, right? Sometimes we have to have a tantrum and just let it all out, just like the 2-year-old, just like, that's too much. I'm going to just let it all out. Yeah. Venus is also square Jupiter. So, like, Tarot ship with Jeannie, Jimmy, he reads the tarot and he puts it with astrology and he'll go, okay, you're going to feel the squeeze. You're going to feel a squeeze on this one, but you're going to get through it. So Venus square Jupiter. Venus again is like the beauty, the love, the aspect, relationships. Square Jupiter. Jupiter makes it bigger, makes everything bigger. So anywhere where we maybe our splurging and overindulgence, particularly connected to like food or pleasures that take us out of alignment. That overindulgence is the key word here, right? The square is going to bring it to our attention so that we can redirect, we can make a new decision for our life, right? Because uh, all of the universe is supporting us to come into greater mastery on the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual level. So all of the everything that comes up within us now is really bringing us to a higher resolution. Everything that we are experiencing in the planet, we're really in that time of the breakdown to break through so that the stuck energy and the energies that are not in greatest alignment within our own life and within the planet, within the systems, within the religions, within the governments, within the financial, it all has to, everything that's out of alignment with the higher um, alignment of the highest and best good of all has to go because we are really in that time of preparation and building through every thought, word, and deed the golden age, right? So we can't take the old stuff, we can't put the new wine into the old wineskins, right? We have to be able to create a new container for our own life and for the planetary systems so that we can align them with the true um, alignment of service to the whole. Yeah. Venus is also the focal point of a finger of God, which is a rare it's actually fairly rare in astrology, but this is the sixth one in a row of these last few months. So this is connecting to Uranus and then the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. And this is really putting a focus on beauty, pleasure, beautiful art. When we keep our focus on that which is beautiful, that which is true, that which is goodness, that which is kindness, then we are feeding our energy into all of those things for the new world that we are creating now together collectively. So in every moment, we are casting our vote for through gratitude, through appreciation, through being present, through honoring each other, through seeing the best in each other. We are actually creating the new frequencies for the new world. And this is what we are here to do at this time. Another thing that is about this astrology is Neptune is at 29 degrees of Pisces, conjunct Saturn at 25 degrees. Pisces is the spiritual sign. 29 degrees is the last degree of the 360 degrees of the all of the signs. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, and 29 is the most potent degree. So again, we have that anaretic degree, right? The most potent degree. So Saturn is about destiny. It's about karma. It's about responsibility, right? And Neptune is the water of unconditional love, and it relates a lot to the cleansing and the oceans. And the other thing that is interesting about this time is that, and this astrological configuration is there's lots of water signs. So Mercury and Mars and the Sun are all in Scorpio. Scorpio is about digging deep. It's about finding the secrets. It's about, just wanting to bring up everything to the surface that has been hidden. We're seeing that happening in the outer world now. Jupiter is in Cancer, which is another water sign, which is a good thing because Jupiter is expanding Cancer, the great things of Cancer, of like home and beauty and um, yeah, the arts and all the good things, right? The good of things of abundance, yeah. And then Neptune and Saturn are in Pisces, which is spirituality. Neptune is the higher mind. Saturn is the discipline in Pisces. So we have a lot of watery energy with this moon. So what that does is it brings up a lot of emotions for us. We already talked about that, right? And on the earth, there could be major things happening with water. We just saw that. Haven't been really following the storm so much, but I know that big storms have been coming through and a lot of them relating to water. Yeah. So another thing that's really big about this is the Jupiter trine Saturn retrograde. And Jupiter in Cancer is expanding our capacity for emotional abundance, nurturing, and creating that true security from within. And Saturn retrograde in Pisces is offering the spiritual wisdom and discipline we need to really anchor that security from within. So Jupiter in Cancer reminds us that the greatest wealth is found in our ability to create home wherever we are and to be nurturing and to nurture ourselves and others, to trust our emotional wisdom, to trust the information that we're receiving through our five senses, and to really trust that that which we feel within is the internal guidance system. And that has more value than anything we're being told from without, right? So I'm going to give you still point remembered, which is the return to balance when we can just, again, put one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, and bring ourselves home to the heart, home in our body. That creates a figure eight flow from our heart through the power center into the belly, and it creates the flow, that connectedness, and it brings us into balance within. Still point remembered, return to balance. Receive it now. Take the breath and hold it. So the message of this moon is go within. Take time for the sacred pause. Contemplate upon what you really value, what is important to you, and how you can live your life more in alignment with your true values. How you can anchor into the rhythms of the earth and the cycles of the earth, and how you can be more present every moment with yourself, your feelings, the emotions happening, and how you can be more present in every conversation, in every exchange, and how you can actually be more conscious in every moment of where you're allowing your energy to go. Yeah. So I'm going to show you the cards that I pulled for this moon. The first one is the Grail Knight, and this is about our spiritual path, and this is the purpose for what we're here for, right? The bottom line, we are here to evolve spiritually and to anchor our own divinity into the physicality of the earth. So I'm going to give you, first of all, that blend, remembering I am, remembering who we are and what we're here to do. Okay, remembering I am, remembering your greatness. Receive it now. Remembering that first and foremost, I think all of us know this, we are a spiritual being in a human body, and this is what we're doing on planet Earth, anchoring that spiritual aspect. So that is the theme card. So everything following that relates back to that. And the action card is the Merlin. So this is the spiritual alchemy, right? Performing the spiritual alchemy in every aspect of our life, using our spiritual tools to create change not only within us, but within the planet. So for that, I'm going to give you mastery, magic, and miracles for just really anchoring your spiritual mastery that really produces miracles in our lives, right? Mastery, magic, and miracles. Receive it. Taking the breath, holding it. So while we're holding this breath, what comes to mind that you would like to bring more into your life as an aspect of mastery? The ascended masters ascended because they mastered the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the memory bodies. And this is what we're asked to do too. So our journey is really walking through the initiations in our daily lives that are presented in our daily lives as we are enrolled full-time in the mystery school of Earth, right? And even the little things that are the little events, what we can see is something not so important happening in our life, can be a moment for mastery, right? So it's paying attention to that, being present to opportunities for mastery. Let's just say that, okay? Because then the water fairy comes in, and this water fairy is all about our emotions. You know, coming in with this moon, we can also tie her back into all these planets in water signs. And we can also tie it into this is a full supermoon, which has a greater gravitational pull on the waters of the earth and a greater gravitational pull on the waters in our body, right? So it is also that aspect of also acknowledging your feelings, being present enough to really know what it is that you're feeling moment to moment and allowing your inner child to guide you through those feelings as well. Mm. and not pushing away what you feel, but really being honest with yourself. And like that lady who said she couldn't even put her attention on to what was not happening in her life and she had to stuff it. It's, like really, we get sick because we stuff our emotions. So let's find healthy ways to express them and to allow them to move through us and to process them. So if you need help with that, I'm here with you. I'm here for you and with you. And yeah, doing the joyous transformations that I do as a private session is really a way that we can process it um, in a way that is positive, and you can make great changes very quickly by doing that. Because the next card that comes up is the burden card. So what burdens are you carrying in your life that really want to be resolved? This is a part of the completions of that number 9 cycle that we are completing in these last few weeks. The more that we can come to resolution with whatever the burdens are that we carry from this lifetime, the cellular memories that we're carrying, the relationships that aren't going so well, the whatever needs to be finished in our life, whether it's in whatever realm of our life it's releasing the false beliefs that we're carrying that are keeping us in sabotaging ourselves. I'm really looking at that. And in fact, I'm going to put out an email tomorrow. I'm going to do some group healing sessions within the next week or so. So I'm going to invite you to come on with those if they resonate with you. We're going to be looking at relationships. We're going to be looking at money. We're going to be looking at power imbalances. And yeah, I'm like making a commitment to myself and offering it as a service that we can just go through this stuff, whatever it is that's calling to be resolved, because we don't need it anymore, right? So I'm going to give you that blend, the burdens, giving it up to spirit, giving it up to spirit. Receive it. We don't need these false beliefs anymore. We don't need what's holding us back. We don't need these relationships that are not honoring us. We don't need to be in situations where we can't speak our truth. We can move through this. So giving it up to spirit, and letting go with grace and ease. This is about letting go of our fears. And the last card is the cow, and this is about nourishing ourselves, taking care of ourselves. The cow is sacred in India because it nourishes the people with the milk, and it gives again and again and again the milk, right? But the thing is, on the card it says nourishment, abundance, asking and receiving. So that brings up, the concept of like sometimes we need help, sometimes we need to ask for what we need from others, right? We need to say yes to to taking care of ourselves, to doing what we need to do to take care of ourselves. If that's a massage or um, whatever it is, cranial sacral, or if it's a session with me, whatever it is that is calling to as your next piece of taking care of yourself. And that is also with that sacred pause. I think one of the biggest things that I'm really getting from this moon is go inside, allow yourself the time in the silence, in journaling, in contemplation to catch up with yourself, to really be honest with what needs to be heard, what needs to be seen, what's calling for attention, what needs to be let go. And most of all, the ultimate self-care is loving yourself, right? Loving yourself unconditionally, no matter what. And like I always say, in the Bible, it says, love the neighbor as yourself, but you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. So, really, this whole concept of taking care of ourselves, making ourselves the most important person in our life, because you know what? We're the only one that's going to be with us all the way from the beginning to the end of our life, right? So, taking care of ourselves is really an important thing. And this is the message of this moon is loving yourself more, honoring yourself, listening within. Hmm. Honoring your temple, honoring your body as a sacred temple. Hmm. Take a breath on that. I'm going to give you that blend, Wellspring within, tapping the inner source, because truly everything we need comes from within. And we are like the apple seed that has all the coatings in it for that seed to be planted, to sprout, to go towards the sun, to be the little sprout, the little tree, the teenage tree, the fully mature tree that gives forth the fruit. This is what we have to remember, that when we go to that place of not being enough, we have to recycle back around and go, you know what? I have everything already coded within me. I don't even have to look outside of myself for it. I just have to mine the gold that's within. And that's the truth, right? So, wellspring within, tapping the inner source. And the wellspring is yeah, that source of courage, of strength, of endurance within us, the all the codes that we have within us that are just waiting for us to make our next spiritual uh, move forward in consciousness, so the next light code can pop open and take us to the next higher place in consciousness. So, wellspring within. I'm projecting it now, tapping the inner source. Breathing it in and holding it. Just say to yourself, I'm more than enough. I am amazing. I am choosing to anchor the light and the love that I am, my true essence, into every atom, cell, and electron of this physical body. I am choosing to embody the fullness of the gold that is within me and that I carry as my divine birthright and the truth of my being. Mm. And that's the truth. I say yes to that. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Because just like this picture of the I am presence behind me, that's who you really are, your divinity. And this one in the human form down here below, that's how you embody your divinity. It's your vehicle. Mm. So let's just say yes to doing it in an even bigger way. Every day with the intention that we will anchor a little more of who we truly are. And we will lovingly release a little more of that which we are not. We say yes to that. All right. Well, I invite you to turn back on your videos. We can just see each other one more time before we go. Hmm. So, giving gratitude to each of you for being here, for receiving these codes. And really, the big takeaway is, actually, we have it all within us already, right? We just have to, we just have to water that seed. Remember to water the seed every day, and I just keep going back to this teaching through this woman with the moon omens on this moon because she read through so many things and she was talking about the Taurus being the earth and Scorpio being the water and that whole interplay between the earth and the water and that the sprouts really only come because they get watered. The earth gets watered and the sprouts are in them. So this is where we are. Yeah. So anything anybody wants to share before we go? I just want to share how grateful I am for each of you for showing up, for anchoring this. And yeah, let's just cultivate the seeds that are within us and really know that we have it all already there. Mm. Sending you love, sending you blessings, huge gratitude for being in my life, for that divine appointment when we first met, and how we keep continuing to have these divine appointments. It's such a blessing. So, ciao Bella from Turkey.